Alrighty. So, since the few people that did watch the video wanted me to make more videos going more in depth about certain parts, I figured I'd go ahead and go into the second step of ECC, which is basically the money-making process. And there's a few ways you can go about it. And this is, of course, assuming you've done some of the basic ones I've said, like just mining for ores. Maybe you had your own little farm going, and you got like your first tool for whatever it is you want to do. Or if you did slash register, because slash register does give you 10k. So, like I said, that's a huge head start. So, first off, if you do slash register and you want to do the farming route, what you want to do is get perms to Warp Pixel, because he has a wide variety of crops, some that are free like bamboo, sugarcane, etc. And then he has his paid crops like netherwort, beetroot, carrots, potatoes, wheat, and melons. The pumpkins are free as far as I know. I'll have to ask him about it again, but you see sweet berry and vines are free. But yeah, you just grab you a max hoe, or just any hoe really, with Fortune 3. And pretty much, they're all about the same in terms of efficiency. Wheat is still the highest per hour on base days. If you have Soul Speed 3, Inward can very easily compete with Wheat for base day, but that's only if you have Soul Speed 3. Carrots, beetroot, and potatoes are a little bit under Wheat, so if Wheat's being constantly farmed, don't be afraid to go and farm these instead, because it's just a little bit less, like only a couple hundred for a single inventory, pretty much. Pumpkins right now are kind of useless. There are some people who do occasionally buy them for super high, but if they're sold out, no point to farm it. Melons, intact melons, if you can get like a Silk Touch shovel, it's still not worth it over, say, just farming this, or this. But intact melons, it's good to know that an intact melon is the highest single crop sell on a base day. And I'll get into that when we talk about magic tools. Because even with a star melon sword, it's still not worth it. Now, if you don't want to go the farming route, and you want to go the mining route, basically what you'll end up doing is, well, you should already been doing this if you're wanting to go the mining route, but there's a couple ways you can go about it. If you decide to pick up an axe, what you want to do is find spawners, and basically you just keep chopping down trees to get yourself tree breaker, not tree breaker. Uh, tree feller. Took me a second. Because once you hit mayor, you can make a tree farm, if that's what you want to do. And with tree feller, it basically instant cuts trees. So it's a lot of profit. And if you have a magic axe, it's unlimited tree feller. So you can just spend the whole day basically chopping down your entire farm. And if you're wanting to do mining, the mining strategy, it's literally just keep /wild until you find caves, and then you basically literally just strip mine. Like, you'd get everything you can. You'd get the coal, like from here. See if we can find a cave here. Yeah, like you farm the coal here. You can turn brightness up. It's not worth it to bring in any sort of light source because spawn rates are lowered. So don't worry about bringing torches or anything. Just turn up your brightness. Nope, no ores in here. This is the main downside to mining in terms of money efficiency. Is it's all basically burst, what I call burst money, because it's all dependent on the ores you find. If you can find a lot of iron ore, you've just made a huge profit. But if you slash wild, you find a cave and it's like this, for example, where there's basically no ores. Yeah, basically no ores besides coal. You kind of screwed. Like, you're not gonna make much off of it. Now, if you were, what most people recommend you do if you're going to do the mining strat is they'll say you basically just slash wild. So let's say I ended up here, right? And then you just start digging down. You don't want to do that. There's a proper way if you're going to mine down. You want to do it at a diagonal. Because if you do it at a diagonal, that gives you space to, if you do somehow come across like a ravine or something, or a cave that has a huge ceiling, you're not going to immediately drop and lose everything. And it's something a lot of people seem to forget, that can happen. Is this the same cave? Yeah, it's the same cave. Yeah. So that's the mining route slash basically wood route. There's not that big of a market for wood because you can literally just go and grow it and chop it anytime you want. But that's not to say that they don't sell for a lot. Like, most of the time you can typically get about $1 per log, so it's not bad. So, and then of course we have, let me go over to my town real quick. My personal, what I'm starting to do now, and this is only while dye prices are high. Don't do it while dye prices are low. But basically, what you want to set up is this little contraption here. And this is one is called a flower farm. So, let me get out. I already used all the bone. Oh, no, I didn't. There we go. So, for example, we just fill up these dispensers. Okay. Yeah, if you want to place dispensers, you need water or pyro, so you typically just ask for somebody to come place it or pay somebody to come place it for you. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. So let's just put 5 in each for now, because this is just demonstrating. That's 5 technically. I don't know why that's happening. Alright, so they're all filled. Sort of good. And then you just stand in the center here. Or you don't even have to stand, so you just stand right here. And then you just flick the lever. I know it's locked by me. That means I should be able to flip it, though. And you just keep flicking it, and bam. See? Easy. 10 flowers each. Then you just turn it back off. And I'll get into redstone contraptions in a later video because that's a whole other ballpark that you have to deal with because of how much they've taken out. I'll go into a couple of things you can still do with it as well. But this is a flower farm. Now, what you can do with the flower farm is you can just sell the flowers straight out, of course. But right now, because dye prices are high at Error now, Station 11, what you really want to do is basically turn them all into dyes. See? Just like that. /warp station 11. Go up here. See? Already made $2 per flower. Well, technically $4 per flower because one flower is 2 dye. Because it's a 2-block plant. So yeah, basically $4 per flower. But you only want to do it while dye prices are high. If dye prices aren't high, I wouldn't recommend it unless you just want basically cheap, quick money. Magenta, pink. Oh, I need to finish selling off the red there. And then pink. So, now, we went over farming. We went over mining. We went over basically creating farms. Now, this is all the stuff you do basically from resident to mayor, and when you get mayor and getting your town up and running. Once you get mayor up and running, because of course you can always just fish. Like, I probably shouldn't need to explain fishing. Because you just fish and then you just sell it. But honestly, if you're going to fish, you should already have a lure 3 rod, but you don't. You really need to get a lure 3 rod. It's a huge increase in money. So, once you're mayor, so let's go back to Pixel, for example, and you got your town up and running, whatever it is you want to do with it. Like this, for example, what he basically did is he created a public farm. And what that is he basically creates each layer. For example, melon. This is the melon layer. And then what you do is you pay him 10k ECD, which is the same as your /register price. Just FYI, if you want to take the farming route off the bat, not a bad call. And you basically get access to every floor. Sorry. You get access to every floor, which means you can farm to your heart's content as long as there's crops there. Beware on magic days. Magic days, these farms will basically get wiped clean very quickly because they're public. Now you can make a private farm as well. Basically recreate this, but you can still have like a couple of floors that are public, but make certain floors be like rentals for like Magic Day and stuff. Or just make floors that only you can access, for example. Because a lot of people are willing to pay like 20, 30k to just have access to a full 200 by 200 floor of like wheat, for example. Now, another thing you can do once you get your town up and running is, let me go over to here. You can basically create plots / floors if you're wanting to make like, like hotels, skyscrapers, etc. And then what you do is you basically sell other people access to the plot or the floor. Or you can just sell them a straight up building, because that's what I've done. I've bought a full-on, I'm making it a hotel, but it's technically a skyscraper from him that I'm currently renovating and trying to sell the floors of. Let me get over here to it real quick. And not just that, but like my friend Zombie, what she's done is she's renovated these areas and basically turned them into shop plots where you rent it out, and that's basically where you can set up your shop for like Resident Plus, which I'm going to get into a little bit later as well, because that's going to be another money making strategy. See, this is my area. See, it doesn't have a lot in it right now. But yeah, you would essentially just sell like this floor here to somebody for like 2K ECD. And they can just live here. Now, if you're going to be doing something like this, it's typically best to offer amenities. For example, let's go to Figos. Figos, for example, offers fishing tables. As you'll see as I come around the bend here. Fishing tables. So that's a perk of being part of your town. Now you can also make amenities that people pay for, like warp fish. Like this, for example. This is Tank's warp, as far as I know. Yeah, Tank's warp. And you see, you buy the book, and then that makes the door open. You go in, and then when you're done fishing, you exit the door. You sell the book back, and it closes the door. But just between you and me, it's a scam. Don't do it. It's literally no easier than just sitting here and watching the bobber and the particles. Like, not at all. Now, in terms of shops, because amenities, I've already basically went over, it can be a farm, it can be basically fishing tables, it can be tree farm, flower farm, whenever basically people can make money off of is an amenity for a town. And that increases appeal to stay at your town. So for shops, for example, like /warp coral X Bay, because you can make your own shops in your own town as well, and if you buy a shop plot, you can make your own shops there. Because you can see they have set up basically where you can buy almost anything, buy and sell almost anything. And this isn't the only place they have their own shop. Because if you want to, you can split up your shop depending on where you think people are going to go. Because like a lot of people stay here because it's basically right next to Pixel's farm and the such. She has her color shop right here. I say she, I don't know if it's a she. I'll just say they. They have their color shop here. So you can see you have all these dyes. That's basically been wiped out. And I'll get into that reason a little bit later. But that's basically what you do with chest shops. Now, if you want to make a chest shop, let me go to my home real quick. Come on, I know I got logs in here somewhere. Nah, there's the planks. So basically, if you want to make your own shop... Oh, wait, what am I doing? I have signs. Oh, no, wait, I still need to make a... Yeah, okay, so, if you want to make a chest shop, what you do is you go and craft your chests. place down your chests, and then you place the oak sign on it. The first line you leave empty because that's where your name's going to be. So you want to type in Q. Let's just put in 1. Now, if you put in a B, that is buy. So buy 1, and then sell 1. And then for this, you just want to leave a question mark. Alright, what did I mistype? It's been a while since I made a chest shop, not gonna lie. But a good thing to know is that the sign can be pretty much anywhere 1 block away from the chest. So, for example, if I wanted to place the sign on a block up here, like right above it, I could. If I wanted to place it on a block over here, I could. Block right below it, I could. That's what I did wrong. Okay. You don't put the Q in. That's why I went wrong. That's my bad. So you leave the first line empty. Let's try this again. And you just put in the number, which is the quantity. I don't know why you can't just put in Q. And then you put in B. Let's just put 1. And then S, 1. And then you pretty much put in the question mark. And then you just put in whatever it is you want to sell. No, you need to hit the sign first. Do you not sell look signs? No, there you go. Yeah. Not mind me, it's just brain fart. Like I said, I haven't made one in a long time. And if you notice, when you click the chest, it automatically locks it. So nobody can get into this chest unless you give them access. And then you can just... Well, you can't trade to a shop you have access to, but then people can just go up, buy it, sell, etc. Now, if you're used to ShopDB, another way to make money is to essentially play the market. So, for example, since dyes are expensive right now to sell, what you do is you look up certain dyes, like, let's say, brown dye, for example. You can sell 16 brown dye for 94 cents. And you go to cocoa beans. You can buy 64 cocoa beans for 50 cents each. And to prove that, I'll go to where you can buy, /warp everything. And we'll go over here to the crops. Let's go and find cocoa beans. Yeah, you see? 50 cents. So we buy that. And then we transfer that over into brown dye. Then we go back to, surprisingly enough, the one that's buying it for 94 cents is the same one that I used as an example. So we just go over here. We found the brown dye sign. And if you notice, we bought 64 cocoa beans for $32. and we just made 60 by turning it into brown dye to sell. Because people people aren't taking into consideration everything that can be crafted when they sell base components. Now, that's not to say after this video goes out that people aren't going to wise up to it and start changing the prices. But if people, there's always probably going to be something you can abuse market-wise. So just be on the lookout. And that's going to be it for pretty much most of the money-making techniques. I'm not going to tell you all of them, because it's up to you to figure out what all there is and isn't. It's just a few of the basic ones. Just like I'm also not telling you how much you can make, for good reason. But, yep, that's about it. So